Welcome, welcome, welcome to the official virtual launch of Unscripted Leadership, Stories of Adaptability, Courage, and Impact. I'm Dr. Jocelyn McDonald, but you can call me Dr. Mac, and I'm the founder and publisher of Mac Media and Publishing. And wherever you are in the world right now, you're here. You are in for a treat. We are super excited that you're here. Please feel free to share where you're located in the comments. We'd love to know where you are. We're streaming live. We want everyone, every city, every country to be represented today. Whether you're in Houston, New York, Ghana, or Abu Dhabi, this moment belongs to all of us. Mac Media and Publishing exists for one thing: to amplify the voices of those who exhibit impact and change. We believe that stories of educators and leaders and visionaries are the most powerful stories in our world, and too far often they are often untold. And so today that changes with Unscripted Leadership. We are super excited to celebrate the authors that make this this book happen and bring together extraordinary leaders from across the globe, each of whom have sat down and wrote the unscripted truths about leadership, what it actually looks like, and not that polished version, not the highlighted reel that we see, but the real thing, the moments that are tested, the moments that tested them or shaped them, and ultimately defined them. And so we are so excited for this conversation. So let's get into it. I'm super excited to now bring the man behind the vision to the stage. And we are so excited to have him here. He is a visionary educator, coach, and consultant with over 2 decades of experience transforming schools and organizations. He is the founder of Meaningful Work Consulting, and his work has impacted leaders and communities across the United States and beyond. And so he didn't just write a book. He assembled a team of leaders from around the world whose stories matter. And the world needs to hear it. And so I want to welcome our visionary author, Mr. Claubentz. Welcome. Super excited to have you. Yes, we are.
Dr. Mac.
Yes. If you could just get us started with the vision behind Unscripted Leadership and set the stage for us today. We are so pumped up and excited that this has now come to life, and we can't wait to share it with everyone.
Absolutely. I am extremely elated to be here this afternoon sharing this with all the people who have joined us and all my contributing authors. I know everyone has a lot going on. It's June, there's graduation, there's everything going on. And so for you to make the time to be here with us this afternoon, I'm grateful. So Unscripted Leadership has been in the making for quite some time, at least the last 8 to 10 years, if I'm being honest. Well, when I was an assistant principal, I didn't realize how much my principal was protecting me or, shielding me from what was some of the crises that were going on, because it didn't feel like we ever encountered any real crisis, right? I was in the trenches. I was doing the work. I was part of running the day-to-day operation of the school. But looking back, a lot of what I didn't have to deal with because someone else was taking the brunt of it, I'm grateful for it. But then when I became principal, suddenly I had all these crises and I had to overcome, problems I had to solve, obstacles, hurdles. And at that time, to be honest, I was asking myself, why me? And I had a great team around me. I was asking, is it something about me that was bringing all these things to the school that I needed to deal with? And so I wanted to really reflect on my practice, and I didn't realize how much I had grown as a leader because of all those things that were going on. But the more I commiserated with my colleagues when I go to principals meeting, I realized that I wasn't alone, right? There's a lot of things going on in schools day in and day out, and leaders just have to roll their sleeves and get into it, right? Everybody's dealing with something. It's often been said that leadership is lonely. And so I wanted to create something that allowed for us to not feel that way and create an outlet for us to tell our stories, but those who will be reading these stories to feel connected to another group of leaders. So a couple of years ago, I had the opportunity to go to Ghana for a leadership conference. And part of that journey, I was able to go to a couple of historic sites to visit. And one of those sites was the Slave River. And I have to tell you, when I stepped into that water, I had this transforming feeling that happened right then and there. And I couldn't hold back tears. And I remember one of the tour guides saying, somebody in your lineage made that trip so you can make this trip. And I can't tell you how motivated I was. So when I left Ghana that year, I left feeling so inspired. I came back and I was leading more boldly, more secure, more proud of who I am and the work that we do. And so what I've learned through these experiences that I went through as a leader made me who I am, but they also made me a stronger leader. I had to rely on my instincts. I had to rely on my values and natural leadership skills to move forward. So that's what unscripted leadership means, right? It's not leading with preparation. It's not to deny that you have preparations, right? It's what happens when preparation runs out. It's the real work of school leadership, right? And these stories in the book matters because these represent what school leaders actually go through on a day-to-day basis. And so that's why we present to you Unscripted Leadership. In this book, there are three themes that you will see when you buy your book and start reading. We have leading with values. What anchors you when everything else when everything is shifting, right? These chapters speak to convictions that keep leaders grounded. Leading through crisis is the next theme. What do you do when an unexpected arrives and there's no playbook to go back to? These chapters, they speak to resilience and clarity under pressure. And then finally, leading forward. What does it look like to not just survive in leadership, but grow through it and bring others with you? These chapters, they speak to legacy and vision. So today you'll get an opportunity to hear from each of them. So let's get into it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Claubentz. Now it's time for us to bring the full team to the conversation. And to everyone that's watching, you are about to hear from some incredible education leaders whose chapters make up this anthology. They are coming to you today from Ghana, from Abu Dhabi, from New York and Houston, Texas, and from across the country and across this world. And it is so amazing. And I just get giddy every time I think about how we come together as one, especially in the education ecosystem. We are moving through these three things that he just shared with you guys: leading with values, leading through crisis, and leading forward. And so Claubentz and I will be introducing the authors and kind of guiding this conversation throughout. Please feel free to share, comment. We want to hear from you as well. And thank you so much for joining us. And so let's bring the team to the stage. We have everyone here. And so welcome, welcome, welcome. Everyone, we're so glad to have you here today. This is just such a thrill to have you. And so we're going to jump into our first theme. Our first theme is talking about leading with values. And so the leaders in this first team explore how core values guide us in education, especially when those moments of uncertain, uncomfortable, and completely unscripted situations take place and arise. And so our first author I would like to introduce. Our first author is joining us from Ghana. He is the co-founder of Pinnacle Elite Educational Complex, a school he built from ground up. His leadership is rooted in courage, accountability, and the belief that every child deserves the freedom to dream beyond their circumstances. And so we'd like to welcome, please, Mr. Richard Adai. Okay, yes. So Richard, as an educator and leader, what is one value that has never been negotiable for you? And how has holding on to that value shaped the kind of leader you are today?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mark. For me, as both as an educator and school founder, that one value that has never been negotiable and will never be is integrity, but a very specific kind of integrity, consistency. When we were building our school, I used to think that leadership was about enforcing high standards and then issuing strong directives. But I learned firsthand that people may hear your words, but they follow your patterns. Holding on to integrity means understanding that what you quietly tolerate speaks much louder than any speech you get. It has shaped me into a leader who thinks and then looks into the mirror first. I think I may have adopted Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror as my theme song all the time. If I want a culture of accountability and professionalism among my teachers and students, I must model that behavior consistently myself, and especially when it's uncomfortable. Yeah, thank you.
Oh yes, I love that. The man in the mirror. Love, 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 love. You built something, from nothing. A school, a culture, a vision. What does it look like when your values are not just words on a wall, but actual foundation, everything you rest on? And what happens when that foundation gets tested?
When you build a school like Pinnacle from nothing, you realize that school culture is not shaped by policies alone. It's shaped by what leadership consistently enforces, tolerates, and holds itself accountable for. And so moving off the wall into reality means realizing that consistency is the loudest directive a leader will ever give. And when that foundation was tested in my own journey, it looked like a tense staff room confrontation that initially felt like a threat to my authority. But when the foundation gets tested properly, it strips away the titles and reveals the systemic truth. I had to realize that follow throughs build credibility faster than authority alone. So by stepping back, addressing my own overreaction, and offering a genuine apology to my staff, something powerful happened. It modeled a culture where acknowledging mistakes was possible. Leadership accountability began to echo beyond me, and my culture really shifted, not through new policy or a louder speech, but through a world-lived example that gives our students and educators a truly stable environment where they can thrive. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And the world appreciates the work that you're doing. And thank you for the inspiration. And we hope that those who are listening and join us inspire us too. Claubentz?
Absolutely. It's often been said, people believe what you say or don't believe what you say because they see what you do, right? And so what you just said speaks so much volume, right? And so thank you for your powerful voice in this book, which is what makes this project so special. Next, we have Dr. Max R. Jean-Paul. Dr. Max Jean-Paul is a dynamic educational leader with more than 2 decades of principal leadership, known for leading with humanity, purpose, and strategic vision. Dr. Max, we thank you for joining us today and joining us on this project. As an educational leader, we talk a lot about values in education, but values are tested in real moments. Without giving too much away, what kind of moment tests do leaders value the most?
Well, first, I wanted to say thank you very much, Claubentz and the entire team for inviting me to be part of this wonderful project. Good day to everyone. Welcome to this virtual space. We're here to, what brings us together is even more tangible and more urgent, especially in the field around leadership. We're here to talk about how leadership is born and the kind of leadership that requires a fierce, quiet courage when the odds are stacked completely against you. Every day we're faced with a mountain of expectations, shifting mandates, resource constraints, and unpredictable storms of change. These are moments with the weight of responsibility that feels overwhelming and the path forward looks completely blocked. With true leadership, I truly believe that it's about showing up each and every day and not feeling lonely, knowing that you have a team that there to support you.
Thank you for that. Many decades of leading schools, we've learned a lot. That some of the heaviest elements in leadership are never in the job description. What do you believe every leader needs to understand about what it truly means to carry the weight of this work?
And despite all the challenges, it's important that all leaders have the courage to do the work and not only believe in themselves, but understanding that there's going to be shifts. But as you continue to climb the mountains of unexpectations, just not losing yourself and having that integrity that helps pushes you through and making sure that you're sharing your vision with your team and knowing that you're not by yourself. and making sure that people see you and that you show up each and every day, not only for your students, but for your entire staff, which is very critical and vital in any school.
Thank you for that. I believe, when you put forth a vision, you have to consistently remind everyone what that vision is, and you have to live it, and you have to speak it every day. And so thank you for that. We truly appreciate it.
All right. Well, our next author is a global education leader currently based in Abu Dhabi, where she serves as vice principal at an international American curriculum school with over 15 years of experience across 2 continents. And as the first in her family to earn her doctoral degree, she is a leader who knows what it means to carry both purpose and pressure across borders. And so I would like to welcome Dr. Lucretia Darby to the stage, and welcome. And thank you so much for joining us. And we can't hear you.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Happy to be here with everyone.
I know we're all in different time zones, and it's so amazing. We know it's super late over there where you are, so we appreciate you joining us live today. Yes, absolutely. Now, what is one value that has never been a negotiable for you, and how has holding on to that value shaped you as the kind of leader that you are today?
Well, I would like to also say integrity has been the one value that I've held on to. That has shaped the leader that I've been. Integrity for me is being honest and holding my values true to my core. And so I think in those spaces of having integrity, I show up authentically. And it first begins as a leader to be honest with yourself and to be honest about who you are as a person. And so when you're genuine and you're authentic, you show up in those spaces and places of leadership. And people see that you're integral. They see that you model those values that you speak about, because oftentimes leadership, we say all these words and we say we're integral and we say we're emotionally intelligent and we say we're a servant leader, but you are tested in those moments. And so being integral means I'm showing up as that. I'm showing up with respect. I'm showing up with that honesty with myself, with others, and also learning how to hold people accountable. So integrity would be my value that I hold very strongly to.
I love that. Thank you. You go ahead, Claubentz.
No. I was just gonna say this is such a this resonates with me so much because one of the things that, especially that piece about accountability, one of the things that I always say is accountability is a form of respect. You can't hold someone accountable you won't hold anyone accountable that you don't respect. So I appreciate hearing that.
Thank you.
I love that. You led across 2 continents now and built your career in spaces that require both courage and conviction. What does it look like to lead with your values when the environment around you just keeps changing? And what has kept you grounded in that?
So first of all, being grounded for me means my faith. As a Christian, I have to be grounded. And so my faith is what keeps me anchored. And so when I'm leading with that value of staying anchored, I'm learning how to be integral, as I said before. But also I'm learning how to, in working across 2 continents, I'm learning about cultural intelligence as well, which is something that I feel a lot of school leaders I've seen in my experience lack, because you're working in a different continent from what you're used to, where you were born and raised. You're going to face those challenges of cultural, where you have to build your cultural intelligence. So what does that look like? Learning about other cultures, learning about other belief systems, but inside of that, being accepting of that, and learning how to be committed to being open to learning about other people. And so in my experiences, I just try to keep people first. And so like, with my servant leadership style, I try to make sure that I'm just really having a clear sense of what I value, but also remaining humble and staying true to my principles and making sure that my principles and what I value is communicated to my team. So hopefully I answered that question, but those are the things that really keep me grounded, my faith, and making sure that I'm staying just true to who I am as a person, and that I lead first with my faith. And that I'm walking into those spaces where I'm just being authentic and serving those people well from the heart.
Absolutely, absolutely.
No, that is amazing. You have to have your compass, right? A lot of people get lost because they don't really know, where they fit in or how they fit in. But if you know, and you are confident in who you are, then any space you walk into, you're going to make the biggest impact.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, now we're going to move into our next thing, Claubentz, right?
Yeah.
Through crisis.
Yeah, leading through crisis, something that every school leader is very familiar with, right? There's not a school year you've gone through that you didn't have to deal with at least one crisis, and it depends on how you lead through it. And so the next few leaders in this category will talk a little bit about some of their experiences without giving you too much here, because we want you to go out and get the book and read their amazing stories. First up, we have Dr. Marcy Strahan, who is a Houston native with 30 plus years in education, teacher, counselor, principal, and district leader. She is very passionate about well-being and belonging. Thank you, Dr. Marcy Strahan, for being a part of this project. Dr. Strahan is a dedicated educational leader with more than 30 years, as I said, across teaching, counseling, and administration. Her work focuses on well-being, belonging, and human side of leadership, which I really love. Dr. Strahan, 30 years in education means that you have seen and led through more than most. What do you want educators in the audience today to understand about what it takes to keep showing up, especially when the moment asks more of you than you plan to give?
Good afternoon or evening, depending on where you're from. Thank you for this opportunity. What I'll say is most important is that you remain present in any of those situations. So after 30 years of experience, what I've really learned is there's truly a difference between the written job description and the lived experiences and responsibilities that become your job description. So I always tell people you have to take care of yourself, because the unexpected is going to happen. But what you can control is how you show up. And in moments of crisis and just difficult times, that's what's most important with the leader, is that they show up as the best version of themselves at that time.
Yeah. No, that is head on, right on, right? So for me, I'm guilty of neglecting myself sometimes still, right? And I know most of you, and if not all of you, can still attest to that, right? And so thank you for that reminder, that because I try to do that for myself, and I have a team that kind of calls me out on it all the time as well, and I'm grateful for that. That you have to take care of yourself, because if you're not well, then you can't take care of the people that you are trying to take care of.
Yeah, I love that. That is absolutely true. And that's something that, as an educator myself, that, sometimes I have to remind myself of that often. And so I know that sometimes you're in the work all the time, and it's hard to put yourself first, because you're trying to solve problems and be that problem solver. But we need you all. You guys are leading incredible work. And so it's amazing. We want our students to have an amazing learning experiences, but it takes strong leaders like you all to deal with these challenges every day, but also putting you first as well. Well, our next author holds an EDD in transformational leadership, and she is based in New York City. She is passionate about equity, student safety, creating systems where every person is truly seen and protected and supported. And I would like to welcome to the stage Dr. Muntaha Muhammad Hussein. Welcome. How are you?
I am doing great. I almost spoke without unmuting myself. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you to my all co-authors as well. As a leader who manages crisis, leaders who manages crisis follow procedures, right? But a leader who truly leads focuses on people and how they experience that situation. In practice, that means staying calm, communicating clearly, mobilizing others, which you will read about in my chapter, how I mobilize the whole community to handle that situation, and anticipating needs to ensure safety beyond just following protocols.
Absolutely. And so what does unscripted leadership look like in the middle of a moment that you've never prepared for?
Well, unscripted leadership really means staying grounded and making real-time decisions with empathy, of course, with care, with clarity and purpose where there's no clear plan. It is about responding to people in the moment and not just relying on procedures that are there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, go ahead, Claubentz.
No, go ahead.
And I was going to ask, your chapter, you explore moments when leadership requires something beyond procedures and policies. What do you believe separates a leader who manages a crisis from one who truly leads through it? And what does that difference look like in practice?
So for me, it's really just being clear, being confident in what you're doing. Staying calm is really important. I know it could be chaotic at times, and I know a lot of leaders who are joined right now, and with my co-authors as well, with everyone who is a school leader, knows that things can get chaotic if you don't practice that clarity, that calm, but also most importantly, just communicating clearly and knowing who to lean on, right? So when you build that community around you, and you anticipating the needs of not just people around you, for everyone, and that goes beyond just following procedures and protocols.
Absolutely. Claubentz?
No, that is absolutely true. And the other piece, as you mentioned, in those moments, there are times when there is no playbook, right? Which is the basis of this whole project, right? You wish you could go and look at the protocols, the SOP for this thing that's happening in this moment. But then when you go to that SOP, it didn't describe this particular incident that you're dealing with, right? This particular crisis that you're dealing with. So that's when you rely on your values, your integrity, and all of those things that we talk about to lead through it. And because you, as a leader, you have the responsibility of making sure that everyone else's needs are met. You got to make sure you don't forget about yourself, as Dr. Strahan talks about in her chapter.
Absolutely. That is so important, but we're now moving into an important part of the theme too as a leader, and it's leading forward. And so, leading through crisis takes everything you have, but these leaders gave it. And because the best leaders do not just survive the moment, they build something for people who come after them as well. So we also want to move us to leading forward. And I'm going to pass it on to you.
So, as leaders, one of the things that we have to keep remembering as we go through these moments is that no matter what, we expect it to keep going, right? Keep moving forward, right? And the best path forward isn't always prescribed, isn't always scripted, and so we have to make sure that we figure that out. And so in this section of the book, we explore some opportunities where leaders took on challenges and then rose above it all, and were able to move their school community forward while taking care of everybody's needs, including their own. So one of our co-authors is Emmanuel Boakye, a strong leader from Ghana. I had an opportunity to meet during that first visit to Ghana 2 years ago, and Boakye approached me. And we had a conversation, very brief. And then when I came back, he reached out to me and wanted me to consider being his coach and his mentor. And so I was more than honored to take that on. And so we had an opportunity to work together the entire year. Last year, I was able to run some sessions for him, for his school, But I got to see firsthand as to what kind of leader he is, right? I was invited to be the keynote speaker at his graduation last summer, and got a chance to meet the kids, got a chance to meet the parents. He is well respected in his community. He goes above and beyond to make sure that the kids of that community gets what they need. And I couldn't be more honored to have him on this project with me. So, Mr. Boache, welcome to the panel this afternoon. I know you've been experiencing some technical difficulties, so thank you for hanging in there. Are you there?
Okay, it looks like
so he may still be experiencing some technical difficulties. But one of the things that he talks about in the book is this idea of leading forward with a community where school felt like it was dying, and so he was front and center, rallying the troops, including reaching out to. I mean, one of the things that I learned from Principal Boache is his boldness, right? Like sometimes one of the things that I struggled with as a leader was asking, right? Going to that organization, going to that partner and asking, right? Can you support? Can you do this, right? And what I've learned from him as I've grown in this area over the years is that the only thing they can say is no or yes, right? The worst thing they could say is no. And so through reaching out to me, and we were able to raise some funds and get some supplies to the kids. And one of the things that I remember him saying is kids can't learn if they don't have the means to learn, right? And so we were able to raise some funds and get some supplies to the school. After I came back from the graduation, we were able to raise some additional funds to build a fence around the school, because safety was one of the things that he wanted to focus on for his community, because there were where his school is located, there it was almost used as a public street, and so he wanted to curb that. So it's so unfortunate that he's not able to speak this afternoon.
Hello.
Oh, there he is.
Yes.
There he is.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So, Mr. Boache, I have a question for you.
Okay.
You are building the future of education in your community, one student and one teacher at a time. What gives you the courage to keep leading forward? And what do you hope the next generation of leaders takes from your example?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the network. I'm unable to be online for some time. Thank you. What gives me courage to keep leading forward is the belief that education improves lives or transforms lives. Every time I see a student gain confidence, achieve a goal, or discover a potential, I am remembered or reminded what
Well, we lost him for a second, but someone keeps giving us a powerful message.
Yes.
Making a powerful impact in students. And so we definitely know that those are important things. And it's great to have leaders like him that are out there thinking about students and what their needs and making those positive impacts. And all of you who sit in those seats.
Yeah. No, he is, if you ever met a leader who did more with less, that would be him. And so it's just unfortunate that we couldn't get to see and hear all he has to say. He's an amazing leader.
Yes, and well, they can still get it now. So we have them in the book, and of course the story is still there. So we may be having technical difficulties now, but of course this message will be in the pages. So please, be sure to consider reading his story and learning more about the impact that he is making as a leader. But we're going to go ahead and move on to our next author. And now our next author is right here where I'm located in Texas, in the United States. She is an award-winning instructional leader, writer whose work centers on inclusive leadership and literacy. She was named her District's Professional of the Year in 2025 and the 71st Texas Mother of the Year. And she is a proud mother. She is a great supporter, and I have the pleasure of working with her in many instances in the educational ecosystem. So please welcome Miss Aisha Krista Atkinson to the stage. How are you?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Dr. Mack, for that beautiful introduction. I'm so excited to be here today.
Oh, we're excited for you to be here today. She was also, weren't you also awarded like assistant principal of the year recently?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Aisha, leading forward is about more than just what is happening right now. It's about what you are building for people who come next. So what does it mean to you personally as a leader?
For myself, it's definitely all about the influential power of legacy. I've often heard some of the greatest leaders that I look up to say that it doesn't matter if you are the first, but so long as there is someone who is able to follow in your footsteps and take that work even further along than you were able to accomplish, that's what really matters within the field of leadership. I would say that in my own work, I have tried my very best to be a positive example of what leading forward, leading through crisis, as well as leading with an intent of legacy for students, for the educators that I serve alongside, as well as for communities as well. Again, as I've already kind of said, it's not about leading from a space of trying to be the best. It's about leading with your best in order to further inspire that next wave of leaders to take it further along than you ever could have been able to do. I believe in my heart that this book is going to be one of those opportunities for those who read it and carry its messages and lessons to heart.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much for, being a part of this project. Having had conversations with you, one of the things that I can truly say about you, and I can see why you're being honored in Texas, is because you lead with heart. You lead you make the work very personal. It's one of the things that I always say to my staff, anyone who's worked with me, know that I say, education is a ministry, right? It's not for the faint of heart. It's not for a paycheck. It's something that we come in to do so we can inspire and hopefully impact the future. So thank you for being the leader that you are in your space.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, Aisha, you lead and you write and you advocate all at the same time. So what does leading forward look like for you? And not just your school, but in a broader conversation about what education can and should be for every child.
So I would definitely say that it's all about challenging the status quo. So looking at what currently exists, what's going well, but also what could use a little bit of refinement. For myself and my own practices, I'm always looking for where are those invisible kiddos? Where are those individuals whose stories are not necessarily being shared or amplified and celebrated, and trying to find a way to take those lessons to learn from those individuals and create opportunities and bridges to success for them. Within my chapter of the book, I specifically talk about this in particular definitely is a population of kiddos that or even adults within a community that oftentimes find themselves not being supported as best as possible within those traditional K-12 settings, but through a commitment to providing that to them through a commitment to amplifying the stories, as well as bringing together community partners to create and sustain a mission that is, of course, bigger and greater than the one individual or the two people working together, is what you'll find at the heart of this chapter. Again, leading forward is all about being able to galvanize, again, individuals, communities to work together in order to achieve a great game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've heard from some extraordinary leaders today, and I just want to sit in that moment because what happened in this conversation is exactly what this book is about. Real leadership, real stories, and it's just not a script. And oftentimes, as an educator myself, when we prepare ourselves for being leaders or working in the work of the educational field, we aren't always prepared with the realities that come with it. And so it's a testament to hear the stories and see from experience how the difference is. A lot of times we get textbook support and when we're preparing to be in these roles, and sometimes we want to share with everyone that things are not always in a line, or you don't have always the best realities of what you think should happen. You're caught off sometimes with some extraordinary situations and opportunities. And I just wanted to sit in that moment and say thank you all for all that you share. And, Claubentz, you brought together voices from across the world to tell the unscripted truth about leading with values, leading through crisis and forward into the future. And so having heard from each of them today, what does this moment mean to you? And what do you hope every person watching carries with them after today?
I'm overjoyed. This moment means everything to me. I woke up this morning and I just couldn't stop thanking God for the work that He's done in my life, because I lead with my faith as well. Just thinking about where I've come from and what I've become, only God could have taken me through that, and so glory to God for that. Looking back at this journey, we started this in August last year, and we met almost every Tuesday. We met on Sundays, meeting with authors, contributing authors, reviewing chapters. There was so much that went into this, and I want to thank every single one of my contributing authors for their bravery, for their courage, to put these stories that they've been holding on to for a while onto paper for others to read. It's not an easy thing to do, and I know some of you have gone back and forth on your chapter. I want to take this out. I want to add this in, because you wanted it to be right. But at the end of the day, you've made a decision that turned a dream of mine into a reality. So thank you for all of this. The one of the things that went into the thinking of this is, when we think about our training. So all of us educational leaders, we've gone through training, right? Formal training. But there's a lot that the formal training left out. And so I wanted this book to not only be something that leaders can hold on to can read and see themselves in, right? So when you read this chapter from Richard or from Emmanuel, from myself, you see yourself in it. But this could be a conversation starter in your cabinet meeting with your leaders as you're building capacity. But this could also be a product that goes into these leadership development programs where they're being used as case studies, where we can have real conversations about what really happens in school buildings on a day-to-day that these aspiring leaders don't really know about just yet. And so, and help them make a decision about whether this is the field that they want to go into, because it requires a lot. And so I am uber excited about the opportunity to present this to the world. I'm so grateful to all of you in the audience who made time to come hear us speak today, and I know you will truly like what you see in on these pages, because these leaders are incredible leaders, have put a lot of heart and soul into this work. But I would be remiss if I didn't also thank Dr. Mack for her guidance, her support, going above and beyond to meet with me continuously to make sure that my vision came to reality, and it truly represented what I wanted it to look like. So, Dr. Mack, thank you so much. I'm deeply indebted to you.
Oh, no, thank you. It's always a pleasure to work with fellow educators and just bring anyone's vision to life, because I've always enjoyed in helping myself by helping others. And so thank you for just being willing to be vulnerable and patient and, stretch with me through all the moments of ideas from fruition to it's been an amazing journey. And we're still at the beginning of this journey, right? So I'm super excited that this is not just the end. We are continuing Unscripted Leadership from here on out. We are just now announcing to the world that Unscripted Leadership is here. And so with that said, I want to definitely share with everyone, this is a credible conversation, but we definitely want to make sure that you guys know how to get the book. So if you're here supporting an author, be sure to connect with them as well. But we're also going to share that this book is available live right now on the Mac Media Publishing website. So we're going to put a QR code up for you to see. Now, as you can see, you can purchase the book live, so you can go ahead and scan it. If you're watching us via YouTube, that link is also should be in the description. If not, we'll make sure we send it out. But connect with your author if you want to ensure you get a copy of this book. We'll love for you guys to give us your feedback, your reviews. I always believe that feedback is a gift. But what a gift you'll have in the stories that these leaders are sharing. The gift that for those of you who are in education, that you're not alone. Some of the things that you may read through these pages may be things that you have experienced. So for those of you who may not be educators, you may get to understand education a little bit better on the difficulties that sit upon the shoulders of leaders every day as they lead schools, lead school districts, lead different school institutions, and the challenges that they're faced with. And that was one of the great things about this, when we really wanted to inspire others. And like Claubentz said, it's not always in the textbook preparation guide for how to be an amazing educator. Sometimes you learn in the work, in those realities, in those moments that you just did not expect. And so again, you can access this book at the Mac Media website. This will take you straight to the purchase of Unscripted Leadership. And so it has definitely been a pleasure to have all of you on today. So I want to bring our authors back up. Let's bring everyone back onto the stage and just celebrate you guys one more time. Yes. I just want to give like a round of applause. It's been an amazing ride. Can you guys believe we did this across continents? We did this in different learning environments. We all have so many different backgrounds to share. And then there were so many similarities even in that. You guys have been an amazing part of this ride for me and Mac Media Publishing. I'm sure that Claubentz can attest to that too. So I just want to just say I'm just grateful that you chose to join this project and along the ride with us. Has been an amazing time that we spent together, and this is just the beginning now. So I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys. We're going to continue this train. We're going to be live in New York City in July, and then we're also planning to do a Houston. So if you're able to travel and you're around, we are looking forward to bringing Unscripted Leadership to you.
Well, let's not forget Ghana next year, because we want to make sure the Ghana authors are, getting an opportunity to showcase their work there as well. So God willing, next summer we'll be in Ghana, so Richard and Emmanuel can be front and center to present the book to Ghana. And then this is an opportunity for all of us, and the readers will now become part of our network. So as a collective, we're going to be even bigger and better, right? This is our contribution to the profession. That's how we view this book, and so this journey, as long as it has been such an amazing journey. It wasn't that hard for us to find those three themes from the stories once the contributing authors started writing. We could see the similarities, as Dr. Mack said. So this is just incredible.
Yeah, I think Ghana would be incredible too. This idea was actually kind of birthed out of Ghana because I met Claubentz in Ghana, and although we were in different parts of the United States a couple of years ago, and we went back again last year to support, of course, education and the initiatives there. And so it's just been an amazing ride to just internationally connect with others, connect and just learn from and just be a part of your network. So for those of you who are watching, please join us, follow us, be sure to connect with the authors, connect with all the authors. Even if you're here supporting one author, connect with the other, just learn more about the work that they're doing, support and embrace education as a whole. We're looking to continue making a positive impact in education. And so I just have to say this before we go to our contributing authors, Richard, Dr. Max, Dr. Krisha, Dr. Marcy, Dr. Hussein, Emmanuel, Aisha, and of course, our visionary Claubentz. Thank you. Thank you so much for trusting Mac Media and Publishing with your story. Thank you for showing up today in the different parts of the world. I know it's late in Abu Dhabi right now. So for those of you who are tuning in, thank you for just joining us. Because I know it's getting close to, I don't know if it's 11 o'clock or almost midnight, but we appreciate you guys from joining us from all over the world, Abu Dhabi, New York, Houston, from all around. You guys showed up for this moment, and for every educator watching. Your stories are going to reach leaders who need them. Leaders are sitting hard on moments right now and wondering if anyone else has been there. And I think this book sets the stage for that and is the whole point. And so to everyone watching, thank you for being here. Follow Mac Media and Publishing. We are at Mac Media Pub on Instagram, X, LinkedIn. So you never miss what we're building. And so again, thank you all for joining us. This has been an amazing time. I'm Dr. Jocelyn McDonald, and we will see you next chapter.